May 6, 2010. The clock strikes 2:42 p.m. The Dow Jones does not dip. It falls off a cliff. 9% of the market evaporates in the time it takes to draw a single breath. On trading floors from New York to London, the silence is deafening. Screens blink red, then black. $1 trillion in wealth is simply gone. Retirement accounts for millions of Americans are wiped out before they can even reach for a phone. The machines took over. Algorithms locked into a recursive death spiral, trading against one another in a toxic loop of panic. No one knew why. No one knew how to stop it. Traders watched their monitors as the numbers spiraled into a digital abyss. The world waited for a military strike or a massive cyber war. They expected a state-level threat. They never expected the truth. The entire global financial system was not fighting an army. It was fighting an error. And the error was just beginning to feed. While the world's most powerful financial institutions scrambled to find the source of the meltdown, the answer sat miles away in a quiet suburban house in Hounslow. There was no underground bunker, no complex server farm, no team of elite hackers, just a single room with a window looking out onto a sleepy residential street. Inside, Navinder Singh Sarao sat at a desk surrounded by the hum of monitors. He was 31 years old. He lived with his parents. He spent his days watching patterns shift across screens. To his neighbors, he was just a quiet man who rarely left his home. To the global market, he was the ghost in the machine. He did not look like a revolutionary. He did not look like a threat. He was simply a man who had stopped interacting with the real world, choosing instead to live within the raw, digital logic of numbers. The contrast was absolute. Outside his walls, the financial world was burning. But inside, the air was still, quiet, and perfectly controlled. He was not reacting to the panic. He was the one who had invited it in. Sarao watched the trading firms and realized they were not watching the market. They were watching each other. They were predators trapped in a feedback loop of their own design. He identified the fatal flaw. They reacted to volume, not value. If he could simulate a massive sell-off, he could force them to trigger their own automated exits. He sat at his keyboard and began to write. He built a custom script designed to flood the order books with millions of dollars in sell orders. It was a phantom army of numbers. He placed the bids, watching the market depth charts light up with fake pressure. His software triggered the panic. Other algorithms detected the massive sell wall, interpreted it as an imminent collapse, and began dumping their own holdings in a desperate attempt to escape. The market began to shake. Sarao watched the prices drop. He did not sell a single asset. He just placed the order, waited for the panic to peak, and watched the machines tear themselves apart. The trap was set. The algorithms were now doing exactly what he needed them to do, chasing a ghost he had created with a few lines of code. The pressure mounted in silence. On May 6, 2010, the order books began to warp. Sarao pushed his keys, increasing the size of his phantom sell orders. The data stream surged. Within minutes, his fake orders accounted for 20% of all selling pressure across the exchange. The market was no longer reacting to trades. It was reacting to his commands. He watched the depth charts collapse under the artificial weight. Every flicker on his screen represented a deeper layer of the trap. The automated systems were feeding on his deception, spiraling into a frenzy of liquidation. He did not blink. He kept his fingers resting on the plastic keys, watching the percentages climb. The global economy was now a ticking clock, and he had set the timer. The machines were screaming in digital code, dumping shares to avoid a crash that existed only in his software. He adjusted a single variable in his script, and the selling pressure intensified. The system was redlining. Every indicator was pinned to the limit. The entire market was leaning forward, held in place by his phantom orders, waiting for the final push that would send it into the abyss. The final command triggered. Sarao hit enter. The market snapped. In an instant, the Dow Jones plummeted, shedding nearly 9% of its value. The algorithmic feedback loop went toxic. Machines began selling to other machines, chasing a bottom that did not exist. Trillions in wealth evaporated as the servers locked in a recursive death spiral. Retirement funds and mutual accounts drained into the void, liquidated by code that could not distinguish between a real collapse and a lie. Sarao watched the numbers turn into a blur of red. While the world panicked, his bot moved. It bypassed the chaos, placing buy orders at the absolute bottom of the crater. He scooped up assets at a massive discount, stripping value from the dying market. He turned the global financial system into his own casino, playing against a house that was tearing itself apart. As the market hit the abyss, his profit margins spiked. He had successfully weaponized the crash. Once his positions were filled, he canceled the phantom sell orders. The artificial pressure vanished, leaving the market to drift in the wreckage of its own automated panic. 5 years of digital pursuit narrowed down to a single physical location. The regulators had chased ghosts across international servers, hunting for a phantom entity they believed was a vast criminal organization. On a quiet morning in 2015, the FBI and Scotland Yard moved in. Tactical teams surrounded the semi-detached house in Hounslow. They breached the front door, weapons drawn, expecting to find a secure bunker filled with servers and armed guards. They moved room to room, boots thudding against the floorboards, sweeping for threats that did not exist. The team reached the final door at the end of the hall. They kicked it inward. The sound echoed through the small, cramped space. They flooded the room, expecting to encounter a mastermind behind a complex operation. Instead, they found a single man sitting in a swivel chair. He did not run. He did not reach for a weapon. He simply turned his head toward the light of the monitors. The investigators lowered their weapons, their faces tightening in confusion. There were no armed guards, no server racks, no secret lair. Just one man and a laptop, sitting in a room that smelled of stale air and electronics. The investigators scanned the room, searching for the source of the millions. They found bank statements stacked neatly on a wooden desk. The figures were astronomical. $40 million, sitting idle in accounts that had not been touched. He had not spent a single cent. He did not own a car. He did not travel. He did not buy luxuries. He remained in the same small space, his fingers dancing across the keys, tracking the flow of global capital, as if it were a simple game. The agents looked at the screen, then back at him. He was not interested in the money. He was interested in the logic. He viewed the global financial system as a cold, rigid equation. The market was a series of patterns, and he was the only one who had learned how to solve the formula. To him, the crash was not a tragedy, nor a crime. It was a solution to a problem that no one else could see. He had broken the world's most powerful economy just to prove that the equation could be solved. He sat still, watching the cursor blink on his monitor, entirely detached from the chaos he had unleashed. The math was complete. The money was irrelevant. The court did not see a puzzle solver. It saw a threat. The sentence was handed down. 380 years in prison for his role in the flash crash. A lifetime of confinement for a few thousand lines of code. Yet, as the gavel fell, the question remained unanswered. The global economy stands at $100 trillion, a gargantuan machine of high-frequency trades and automated logic. If one person, sitting in a bedroom in Hounslow, could force that machine to its knees, then what is stopping someone else from doing it again? We look for threats in military strikes, in cyber warfare, and in massive server farms. But the reality is far more fragile. The greatest danger to our financial foundation is not a collective, nor an army. It is a single mind with a laptop and a flaw in the math. As you watch the ticker move, as you trust the numbers on your screen, ask yourself this: are the markets truly safe, or are we just one algorithm away from the next collapse? The fuse is still lit. What do you think?